So our next guest, I'm pretty excited about too. We've had him on the show before, and Mr. Tapan Trivedi, and very interesting human being and very funny as well. You may notice he is a comedian. So let's bring on Mr. Tapan. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Hi. Oh, he's muted. Oh no. Can you
hear me?
There we go. Now we got you. There he is. All right, man. Well, I am so excited to have you back on today. We're going to learn a little bit more this time about what you actually do, not just entertaining us.
Okay. So I do have a presentation, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's learn about it.
Share the screen and stuff. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, Kathy, such a calming presence. She was so awesome. I mean, you could just, and virtual chaplaincy, I didn't know that existed, but now I do.
Right? It's really interesting.
It's really interesting. Now,
it was.
And figure out how to go and give the chocolates virtually,
Right, yeah. Virtual chocolate. You know what? I'm a big fan of this idea. We need to find a way technologically to implement virtual chocolate. And Tapan, this is our international show. So where are you originally from?
Oh, I'm originally from Ahmedabad, India. Yes, and it's a part of my story, actually.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So we're going to learn more about that. Good. I'm always fascinated. I was actually so excited to do the international show just because I love to learn more about where people are from and their backgrounds and all that. Is something that really, really fascinates me. In fact, I've used to haunt Kathy's office and sit there and bug her chaplains about
you guys ready?
Where they're from. Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. Can you guys see my screen?
Nope, not yet. Let's see.
So StreamYard is
there.
sharing.
Well, we can see you. There it goes. There it goes.
Okay, wonderful. So, okay, this is a breakthrough session. I do a very different thing, and I'm going to go into that. Okay, breakthrough session. Okay, come on, I could do this. So why are we here today? I am going to talk about how I'm a full-time real estate investor. So I'm going to talk to you guys about what I do on a day-to-day basis and how I create my income. Okay. By the end of this presentation, I'll show you the exact steps I have taken to do a wholesale that netted me $80,000 in 6 days. How I bought a house in Sacramento for dirt cheap and sold it for $290,000.
Ooh.
Okay? And I did that without any of my own money. Okay, so yes. And first deal I did when I had a full-time job. I still had a full-time job. I was doing this and I did this on the side. And why did I do that, right? So my story, this is where I was talking about Kathy. I was born and raised in the third world. My dad was a textile mill worker. He made not more than $200 a month.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what I grew up in. Yes. I came here with $20 in my pocket, which was 10% of my dad's monthly salary.
Wow, that's kind of depressing.
Right. It is. But we didn't know that, though.
Right.
And we got an MBA. I got an MBA in MIS when I came here, and then I worked with a lot of recruiters. Recruiters were my bread and butter. You guys were so awesome to me. Almost everything that I did was because of you guys. I worked for Oracle, Boeing, Apple, HP, DreamWorks, Steven Spielberg.
Oh, that's cool.
Asia Brown Bowery in Houston, Microsoft. All these people I worked with, and I had a fantastic career. But I had a dream, because I mean, what's the sense of coming to the land of the free, right? What's the sense of coming to and doing what I could have either done in India? So it's like I wanted to be a stand-up comic and be on TV. That was my dream. And as a software engineer, my take home was north of 150K.
Right.
As a comedian, you get $25 a show.
Whew.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a difference, right?
A little bit,
And
just a smidge.
a little bit. So I had to put this dream off. Like I had to, I played against myself. Like, oh, why can't I do this? And like, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I can't afford this. What would my spouse say? I have too much debt. Yada yada yada. All those things, right? So just compare yourself to this situation and see if any of these things work for you, right? Right? Has this happened to you? Just raise your hand, even if I cannot see. Sudden income change in family situation, change in benefits, change in retirement savings, commonly known as dipping, too much debt, constant fights with the spouse. Well, that can happen. And then staying awake at night started happening. Like I couldn't sleep because all the stuff that this was haranguing me, but at the same time, like the numbers weren't adding up. I'm a math guy, right? At the basic thing, like I'm like, is this going to work out or not? And I'm like, my retirement savings, and I've been saving a lot. Like it would last me for about 4 years, and my lifestyle would be 40% of the one that I have currently, right? And if my daughter gets into any of the colleges keeps on talking about, it's going to cost me at least $200,000, and that keeps on going up.
Ooh. Why do kids never want to go to community college? Like that, they always want the most expensive one.
Yeah, because she keeps on talking about Harvard and Juilliard. And I looked at those two and I'm like, I will have to sell both my kidneys. in those days. And if healthcare costs keep on rising, then I'll have to work into my 80s.
Jeez.
And I was like, it's like, the times are different, right? We know that. Like life expectancy is a lot more now. So in 1900 it was 49 years, right? So you pretty much work till you die.
Right.
In 1960s, where most of our current policies are made of, 69 years, right? So you had a few years of retirement. What is life expectancy now? 83 years and fast rising.
Yep.
Right. So your retirement has to last decades. You really need to plan for this now. So, and the reason, like the healthcare costs are rising tremendously. And here's a nifty little graph that I have. So this is the
yes.
This is the GDP, the wages is 16%. GDP grew 168%. Healthcare costs grew by 818%. So if you think that it's really tough, it's because of this. You have nothing to do with it. So, and most of us still have the same. I mean, I was told the same thing. Like, you save to retirement. That doesn't really work anymore for a lot of people. I mean, the largest class of new employment is senior 68 and older. And why not? I mean, they work harder and more sincerely than a 17-year-old who has to update the Snapchat every 10 minutes.
Or their TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have the same wages.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is really. So I needed to have a bridge to my dream, right? And how did I do it? I mean, what was that bridge? It was the houses. One at a time and being in control of those houses. And flips to gain equity and rentals are now paid off for cash flow. So I don't wake up in the morning if I don't want to. All my expenses are paid by my rentals.
That's awesome.
Right.
So how did you get into that and with the financing and all that?
Yep. I'm about to tell you. Thank you for asking. And apartment complexes and mobile home parks for the future generations, right? But show me the money. How do you do this? So first, my $80,000 wholesale, right? Like, how do you do that? Wholesaling, for those who don't know, is getting a deal under contract and then selling or assigning the contract for a higher price, right? So let's say I have a contract to buy a house. Can I sell that contract? Because it's an opportunity, right?
Right.
So if I have 30 days to close, and if I go ahead and assign that contract to somebody else within 1 week, and that person can close in one month, the buyer doesn't know any difference. The seller doesn't know any difference.
Right.
and I still made money. And I'll show you exactly how I did that. So this was the address, 3077 Molitor Drive. It's a very affluent suburb of Sacramento. How did I find the deal? How did I get into contract? What did I have to do to move it? And the numbers. Okay. So this is what the house looks like. Can you see the house?
Yes.
Absolutely. It's an okay house. It just got a lot of junk in it. And you see the green pool? It's a green pool. So a volunteer at my office got the call off of my marketing. So this person called me, and she was in foreclosure. She was losing it in 16 days.
Oof.
So the first thing that we did was we postponed the sale right away. We called the bank, and there's techniques to negotiate with the bank, and we used all of them, and bam, it was postponed by a month, right?
Right.
Still the same house. And how did I get into the contract? She was ready. She did the grant deed the day off. She gave me the house the day off. She wanted nothing to do with it. And I'll tell you why. You got to understand the human emotions, right? You're buying actual property, so you got to understand the human emotions. She was living there with her kids. Now she worked for Intel. This is not a lady that was just on the brinks or whatever. She had 3 other properties.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. So this was the property that she had inherited from. This is the one house that she had grown up in, and this is where she was living with 3 of her kids, and the kids were just horrible people.
Oof. That's
so she was absolutely being taken advantage of. And essentially, she just wanted her kids to be gone, to the point that she said that when you evict them, would you let me know? Said, yes, I will let you know. Why do you want to know? I want to watch.
That's fantastic.
Right. She had no problem just giving the house to me, because she was so done with the house. Okay? Right. So I announced to the cash buyers in my network, and I had an open house. I had come and see it between, it was 2 and 4 that day. And we just took all the junk that was there. I hired a couple of people and just moved all the junk to the garage. So it was just a very, very easy house to navigate. Right. About 28 people showed up. I got 19 offers. And I sold it to a friend of mine for $65K over asking.
Nice.
And she had previously put a deposit of $16K. She took care of the foreclosure. She paid off the amount that was needed to bring the loan current, and she assumed the financing. So she had to put just the money to fix it. So please understand that I did not fix the house. I just got it under the contract, and I just assigned the contract to somebody else. So she sold it for a profit of $152,000 for herself.
Okay.
So this is what the house looked like.
Oh, beautiful.
Same house.
Wow. Yeah.
And this was my check for $65,000.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, and this was for 6 days worth of work. 6 days. So another house, 3316 Hurley Way. This is what it looked like. That's a guy in there, just in case you see. There's a guy in
oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
This is it says meth before BITCHES. That's some stuff. That was a house. Kind of get the idea. So how did we find it? Door knock. So there was somebody that was door knocking on my volunteer team. Guy answered the door, and my door knock volunteer had no idea what to do. So he called me. So I just showed up out there, and I talked to the owner for about 15 minutes, and realized that this need to be done today because it was being foreclosed in 6 days. Now in California, if you gotta give them a 5-day right of rescission. Okay. So it had to be done on that day, because for the contract to be valid, I had to give him 5 days. So we did that, postponed the sale, same thing. And here's the thing, right? There's whenever you're dealing with somebody, when you go ahead and ask for what you are asking for, you gotta be able to go ahead and take some uncomfortable silence. And I'll tell you why in a second, okay? So I was okay to go up to pay him up to $50,000 for the house. And my idea was that $50,000 I'll pay him. I would put about $35,000 to $40,000 into fixing the house, and it would take me about 140K was the value of the house. So it kind of made sense at that point, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I can flip it. That was me going in, thinking about this. And he asked, what would I pay him? And you never, ever be the first person to say what it is, right? Like how much it costs. You never be the first person. And like I said, I need you to tell me. And he says, no, you tell me. So I said, oh, I'll give you $1. Like, you asking for a price, I'll give you $1. And I just said it flippantly. And then he laughed, and I just shut up. And then he said, I won't take a dime less than $6,000.
Nice.
Right? So did I just make $46,000 in my head, kind of?
Right. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, wait, for $46,000, all in, I'm gonna keep the house. I don't need to flip it because it'll cash flow all day long.
Right.
Right. So, but if I was still doing the Oracle DBA stuff and all the stuff, then this would not have happened.
Right.
So this is what the house looked like eventually.
Beautiful.
So here's the thing. All these things happened to me because I was in the game. I went ahead and switched, but I did the job and I did these things at the same time. Right? So I have a program called Rapid Fire Cash Flow, or 257. It's the easiest thing that you can do. It's in 2 years, buy 5 properties, and then you can pay it off in 7 years.
Right.
Techniques that you can do that you can pay it off in 7 years, this portfolio, and without spending any of your own money.
See, that's the best part right there.
Yeah. So you get the cash flow into your bank account whether you wake up or not, right? That's the thing that I'm trying to say. Like
right.
Whether you wake up or not, I don't. I mean, you know, the Netflix the show that just came up, Cursed.
Oh yeah.
I've seen the whole thing. I grew up a lot. This is, but you've seen me do stuff, right? So.
Oh yes.
So if your passive income meets your expenses, right?
Right.
Then you can fire your boss.
Right.
If you told her, retire early, allow for your significant other to retire early, sleep peacefully without money worries, more travel, more family time. I work out of my house. My daughter does not know the difference.
Same here.
They don't have the concept of dad being gone, right?
Right. And this is actually right along the lines with what Dan was talking about earlier. And Dan was talking about, I have this opportunity and I have this gift and I'm going to use it.
Absolutely. And I'll give you one tip in just a second that you guys were talking about, but you leave a legacy for your children.
Yes.
Right? Once they're paid off, it's a self-sustaining cash flow, and you give it to your kids.
Right.
And
that's so crucial.
Right. So lastly, the real estate is about to take a dive in prices. We are teetering on the edge, right? I mean, the last. Are you ready to take advantage of the market? Because the last crash, everybody remembers that, right?
Oh yes.
The largest transfer of wealth in the history of wealth. The largest transfer of wealth. So whether Alexander coming and conquering states, all those things, no, this was larger. And that is just in the United States. It was a worldwide crash. Okay. So it's a 12-week program, and I'm starting on August 15th, you will stop right on November 15th. And what happens to house prices in the fall? They're down. So you'll be ready to take advantage of this at that point. It's a 12 weeks in a Zoom. I'll give you homework every week. You got to do it. For 6 months. After that, for 6 months, every week you'll have a group coaching opportunity to get your questions answered. You'll have the tools that you'll need to evaluate the properties. You'll be able to evaluate properties in under 10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Right. And the markets and presentation tools that you can take these to your investors. You don't have, you got to create a deal and take it to your investors. So a student of mine, Melissa Headley, implemented the exact strategy. She's on a third 257. She has one apartment complex. Her net worth is close to $485,000. I've been working with her for about 3 years now. And she's 28 years old.
Nice. Good for her.
She's financially free. She's at a point that she's like, if I don't want to do that, I won't.
Right.
So can you imagine
that's
how many dreams would you be able to achieve if you had that? And how much does it cost? I sell it somewhere between 5 and 15. Today, there's a special for my friends and stuff because of a very, very special person here. And it would be $9.99. It will be worth $1,000. Okay.
Wow.
And
okay.
What do you need to do? Send an email to trivedigmt@gmail.com. And just subject line say application for 257, your name and cell phone number. And just because you give me the money doesn't necessarily mean I'll take it. I need 5 people that are absolutely committed to take their life to the next level. Because you need to do the work.
And we're dropping the email in the comments, guys. We're dropping his email in the comments. Reach out to him. And Tapan's a straight up guy. That's not a scam or anything like that. This is a straight up guy that knows what he's doing. He's going to teach you how to do it. It's an educational program.
And I did achieve my dream. I did stand up in all 50 states, even Alaska.
I
was on Showtime,
and he's hilarious,
Video, Stars, Comedy Central, and I worked with Mork. Yesterday was his birthday. So it's kind of sad. I worked with him many times.
And you guys check out Tapan, by the way. He is hysterical. You've got to look up his videos on YouTube. I
absolutely achieved my dream, and had it not been for houses and real estate, I would not have been able to do this. So life, I mean, you're on a 40-40 plan right now. You work 40 hours a day for 40 years to retire at 40% of your lifestyle.
Right.
So I'm offering you a different one called 257. Hopefully you'll take it.
Right.
That's all
right, guys. Thank you so much, Tapan. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, check him out. Definitely take advantage of this awesome educational opportunity. Trust me, the guy knows what he's talking about. He's been doing it for years. And then also, he is hilarious. You've got to look him up on YouTube. Every time I need a laugh, I look him up. And there's one routine of his specifically that just has me giggling about what type of Indian he is. So... So check him out, and again, we dropped his email in the comments.